As the seasons change, you can find great deals on clearance closeouts. The next time you see a stack of $2 tees, pick up a few. You'll be surprised at what you can create. In this tutorial, I'll be refashioning plain tees into 3 unique styles. This tutorial was sponsored by allfreesewing.com. For the first refashion, I'll be using some iron-ons. These came in a booklet I bought at Paper Source. However, it's easy to make your own using printable iron-on paper. Alternately, you could draw a design on the tee using fabric markers. To transfer an iron-on, place the image face down and iron from the center outward in a circular motion. It takes about a minute. Let cool, then remove the paper. I'm going to embellish my iron-on with buttons. Hand stitch the buttons in place using a thread that has a pop of color. Finally, I'll hand embroider a running stitch beneath the tree. This shirt has a handmade hipster feel. This next refashion would also work for a boy's shirt. My daughter calls it her gamer tee because the front pocket can hold her Nintendo. I'll be using a second shirt for my stash. As I've mentioned in other tutorials, I keep a bag full of old tees to use while refashioning. Cut a rectangle from the spare shirt. It should be several inches smaller than the width of your tee. Cut both layers of the shirt. Fold the rectangle in half widthwise. Place a saucer on the upper corner and trace the arc. Cut along this curve and unfold. Now, if you wanted a polished look, you would sew these pieces right sides together, then turn and top stitch. But I want this shirt to be ultra casual, so I'm leaving raw edges. Since we're working with a knit, it won't fray, but will curl slightly in the wash. Sew the 2 layers of fabric together along the curves. Then pin the large pocket piece to the t-shirt. Sew along the top, bottom, and sides, but leave the curves open so your hands can slide in. Be sure you're only sewing on the top layer of the t-shirt. Next, I'll add a little pocket on the chest. For added interest, I'm turning my fabric so the pocket has a vertical stripe. Cut a rectangle from both layers of the spare tee, then trim the bottom into a U shape. Sew the layers together at top. Pin the pocket to the shirt and sew around the U, leaving the top of the pocket open. Although my daughter loves this shirt as is, I can't help adding a girly touch to it. Ruching the sleeves is a super simple way to add femininity. Turn the tee inside out. Sew a 1/4 inch wide piece of elastic from the shoulder to the cuff. Pull the elastic tightly as you sew. When you're finished, the elastic will shrink and ruffle the sleeve. Now this shirt is comfy casual. This third shirt is flirty and fun with layers of ruffles. You can make them all one color or mix a variety of patterns. You'll need old t-shirts that are at least several inches wider than the shirt you're refashioning. Cut old t-shirts into strips. Mine are about 3.5 inches wide. Remove the side seams. Lay the strips out on your tee so you can see how many you'll need. The final layer will go right beneath the arms. For this ruffle, you'll be using the hem of an old tee because it's already finished nicely. Now ruffle all of the strips by sewing with a basting stitch. Do not backstitch. When you remove the strips from your machine, leave the threads extra long. Unpick the side seams of the tee you're refashioning between the hem and the underarm area. Starting at the bottom of the tee, pin a ruffle strip. Pull the bottom basting thread to tighten the ruffle. Adjust the strip so that it fits the width of the shirt, plus a little extra so it will be caught in your side seams later. Sew the strip in place with a 1/2 inch seam. You don't need to switch your thread for different strips, just make your thread match the final top ruffle because those are the only stitches that will show. Remove the basting threads as you go. Once you've added all the strips, turn the shirt inside out. Line up the side seams and pin. Sew together with a zigzag stitch. Then trim off any excess fabric. With all this refashioning going on, my daughter begged to design her own t-shirt. Applique is the perfect project for beginning sewers because double-sided fusible webbing will hold pretty well, even if the top stitching is less than perfect. Here's how my 10-year-old made her t-shirt.
Cut your design from scraps. Then iron heat and bond ultra hold to the back. Peel off the design paper and iron to the tee. There's no need to bother with pins. Top stitch the design in place.
As you can see, she's very proud of her creation. Refashioning plain t-shirts is economical and a lot of fun. What will you design? This tutorial was sponsored by allfreesewing.com. For hundreds more crafting and sewing tutorials, please visit my website, madebymarzipan.com.